Hello everyone, this is Hakaym and welcome back to some more World of Warships, and today I'm finally showing off the Tier 9 Soyuz? The Soyuz, I'm just going to say the Soyuz because I'm going to mispronounce it no matter what I say. And yeah, I know I'm late to the party, and especially with the French destroyer line coming out, that's much more exciting for a lot of people. But I thought I might as well talk about it because I finally have her upgraded. I finally have a decent battle with her. And as you can see, I'm joined with Udachi playing in the Donskoy. And as you can see, we are mid-tier, which is kind of standard for Tier 9. It's not the greatest, but it's not the worst, for sure. Now, the Soyuz, I feel a little bit better. But I will have to say, Russian battleships are just not my most favorite thing in the world. I don't know if it was the Vlad that did it, and it could also have been that I've been taking a slight hiatus from World of Warships. I just haven't really been playing that much, but I just am not really that ecstatic about getting to the Kremlin. Like, I understand the Kremlin's benefits, its power, its stupidly power armor, and shells and dispersion. So I understand all that. But I don't know, it's just Russian battleships don't really get me going, I guess is the best way to say it. So let's actually talk about the ship. Decently quick for Tier 9 battleships, very similar to a lot of the other Tier 9s. Not as fast as the Iowa. I think very similar to the Ismo. As far as handling, it's very similar to the Ismo. It's pretty much a boat, a brick. It turns like a brick. So yeah, you really gotta be careful, especially dealing with destroyers. Its torpedo reduction isn't the greatest in the world, especially compared to, say, the Ismo. So Russian battleships are very vulnerable to enemy destroyers such as the gearing that's currently pushing into A. Now, one other thing, and I'm going slightly off point, is the captain of the enemy Kremlin on the team. If you're curious, just kind of keep an eye on the chat because I find it hilarious with what's going to be happening. So, yes. So, dispersion. Once again, it's Russian battleship. Dispersion is a lot better up close, within 10 to 12 kilometers. The shells hit pretty hard, with the fact that a lot of these up-tier cruisers have much more armor. You're less likely to overpen, but overpenning is quite common still in these Russian battleships. So that is definitely the whole gimmick of the Russian battleships. They hit pretty hard. They have really good dispersion. They have the very weak armor. Not a lot has changed from the Vladivostok, and not a lot is going to change once you get to the Kremlin. It's just a bigger ship with more armor and more health. Health is decent. I don't know if that Ismo is not fully upgraded, but 80,000 is not too bad. Not as good as the FDG, but it's still not too bad. But once again, one thing I do like about the ship is it's kind of stealthy for its tier. 13.1 kilometers. Granted, its max range is 17.6. I don't go for the increased range on the ship. I could. That would obviously mean that you'd be able to shoot at things much longer range, but your dispersion is still pretty kind of terrible. But you might get lucky. That's kind of the whole thing, is you might get lucky. But anyway, enemy team does manage to capture all 3 caps, and the enemy Kremlin's asking what our team is doing, even though they're currently down 2 ships. So, yes. Anyways, as for sneaking, this is actually kind of the funniest part, is I'm actually sneaking around this corner, not being detected by any enemy ships. I don't think until momentarily I get detected. Actually, I don't even think I get detected till almost right on top of the enemy gearing, who is just now radarred. Unfortunately, once again, do have Udachi and the Donskoy popping smoke, and this poor gearing Yeah, goodbye. That is our first kill of the game, and 16,000 damage, yeah, it's alright, but still very funny that we were able to sneak up around that corner and actually get rid of that enemy gearing. So, things are, I don't really want to say really that dicey. The enemy team have lost 4 ships. They're losing control of A. They still have both A and D, and the enemy Kremlin decides to turn broadside to a Yamato and gets completely clapped. So, I mean, hey, there's that for it. And once again, the whole point of Russian battleships is to be aggressive. This is almost the only reason they're really good at. Do manage to get 2 citadels on the Alaska. Do kind of bring him down on health. Of course, a Montana decides to come out broadside to me. Fortunately, the gun reload on the Soyuz is still very, very slow. But we should be able to get a shot off as long as we aim well and our dispersion works with us. But once again, dispersion on the Soyuz is pretty decent. Don't get a citadel, but we do get a penetration. Stalingrad is pushing in towards us. Now, you do still have to be careful of other battleships and even heavier cruisers, such as the Stalingrad and the Alaska, because their shells are they're much larger than even the largest with the Henry. So you do still have to be a little bit careful whenever dealing with even heavier cruisers such as those. But we do get a broadside on that Kremlin, who is starting to turn away. Our team is quite easily kicking their butt right now. Not really getting the citadel I would like, but do knock out a turret. Now I am being careful because that is the Kremlin. Don't want to show a lot of broadside to him. But at the exact same time, I'm actually getting kind of fired here from the enemy Stalingrad because I can only turn my bow into a certain direction. If we can get rid of this Kremlin, we should be doing pretty alright. And here I think I make a kind of a bad choice as far as positioning. Stalingrad hasn't been shooting at us, but until now he decides to shoot at us. And once again, that is a Stalingrad, and Wargaming really does love their Russian ships. Unfortunately for that Stalingrad, unfortunately for me, I don't get a citadel. And that is a broadside Stalingrad. That should have been, well, there's the citadel. And look at that right there, 33,000 damage off of us. That's why you don't want to be showing broadside in these Russian battleships. And gotta be careful because that's also a Montana to your right, and we are being targeted by 2. I believe actually the Ismo is the one firing at us. Probably could have been a little bit more aggressive in turning in, but once again, the armor on the Soyuz, once you get angled, is pretty darn good. Even the Montana not really doing much against us. So, yeah. Once again, the enemy Kremlin is making fun of our team, and yet his team is losing, and they actually managed to get rid of one of our ships for the first time, while they're only down to 5 ships. But Stalingrad is getting focused down relatively quickly. Shouldn't be that big of an issue. Hold my fire, because wasn't certain if that Stalingrad was going to go down, but he does. And yes, thoughts on the Soyuz is not a bad ship. I mean, once again, it's a very close-in personal battleship. It's designed to be hyper-aggressive. It has that very short reload on its damage control, only 5 charges. Dispersion works better if you're close. So really kind of how the Russian battleship line has been all the way through. You just have much more armor with a little bit more health. It feels like the guns do work a bit better, but once again, you're kind of facing off more against higher tiers, and your shells do a little bit better. So as you can see, enemy team is pretty much all gone. All that's left is a Alabama and an Ismo, and that Alabama is not going to last for very much longer. AA on the ship, I don't really want to talk that much about it because AA is going to be changing here soon. But it's not the greatest, it's not the worst, it's okay. You can shoot down planes, but if a carrier really wants to go after you, you're going to get hit, and you're not going to be nimble enough to really dodge it. But anyway, that's essentially going to be it. A quick look at the Soyuz. This Ismo is going to feel the power of the Soyuz with a final citadel. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe button. You guys have a great and fantastic day. Zaijian.